tell.
Hello.
Use the force, Luke.
What you talking about, Luke? Marcia.
What's up now?
Spider friends, go for it.
Transform and roll out.
And I'll form the head. That's what she said.
Don't!
Hey, this is Jonathan.
And this is Allan, and welcome to the NerdInMePodcast, where we discuss all things geek from the 80s through today. Listen on our thoughts on music, movies, cartoons, toys, and shows. Relive your memories, Jonathan, of your childhood as we tap into the nerd in you.
And to our longtime listeners, I want to say welcome. And if you're new here, what's up?
Jonathan, what are we talking about today?
Alan, today we're talking about WandaVision Episode 8, previously on.
Did you like this episode?
I did like it. I liked it better than last week's, I will say that.
I agree with you.
Yeah. This was less of a figure out what's going on because, and I expected this, we talked about it last week, it's going to be an information dump episode, a lot of exposition. And so I was fine with that. I was expecting it. It was kind of just to sit back and we're going to tell you where your guesses were right and where your guesses were wrong and where this show it has been heading this whole time. So I was ready for it. And I liked what was revealed. I enjoyed, I had like a mental checklist. Yep, I thought that. Yep, I thought that. Like they confirmed some things. Some things I was like, oh, that's I didn't think that, that kind of stuff. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. Again, the internet lied to us. I thought it'd be an hour long. It was 44 minutes long. So I don't believe the internet anymore, Alan. It's lied to me too many times. It's hurt me too many times.
45 minutes, that's not including the credits?
That's with the credits.
That's with the credits. Okay. Yeah, it did seem a little longer.
45 or 47, yeah.
Uh-huh. So going into this episode, we've done this before. It has... What are the thoughts that may have changed or confirmed for you?
They set up Agatha last week to be kind of the big baddie. And even last week we spoke about, we still think there's someone behind her. This episode to me, the way I viewed it, I'm curious to see your thoughts on it, really came to me as like, Agatha was more of a, I called this witch's therapy. That's what I want to say. Alan, this is witch's therapy. She is helping Wanda through this trauma by making her confront it. It's a risky thing. And of course, I think Agatha's got personal reasons, like personal benefits for doing this. But I don't think it's malicious intentions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so I'm just saying that I think Agatha finds in Wanda almost someone she's been searching for centuries. And if you look at the beginning, she was at the Salem witch trials. The other witches burned her, said she's working with magic she shouldn't be working with, and she even says, she goes, "Mother, I'll try to be, or I can be good. I know it." All these things are inclusive to me. It's like, I don't think Agatha's the bad guy in this. I think this, everything she did, all the manipulations, was to try to make Wanda. I think she's curious about her powers and wants to know where they came from and how she got that way. But she's also trying to help Wanda through this trauma.
I think I agree with you partly. I don't know if she's the main bad guy. I mean, it's too late to say that there's another person pulling the strings at this point, What I got out of it, though, was, when it starts off in, 16-something, right? And like you said, she's confronted with all the witches, and it seemed like when they were using their powers on her, she was actually taking away their powers, Mm-hmm. And the vibe I got was she's living through time and she's sensing this magical witchical power, and she's like, whoa, what's that coming from? Who is this? And how do I get it? And so that's the point of view I got. At some points it felt like she was almost like being like the Yoda, kind of like, okay, I'm going to help you through this. How come, you don't know these magical powers, and maybe I can guide you. But at the same time, I also got the feeling like, okay, how is it that you're so powerful? How can I take that from you too? Like, so she can be like the ultimate witch. So I'm conflicted with her character. I don't know if she's good, if she's bad, or maybe she's supposed to be like a a neutral kind of being. Like, I'm not good, I'm not bad, but I'm in the middle.
Yeah, she's just great. And see, my thinking is this, and I can see why you think that, but my thing is like I don't think she knew she was stealing the powers back in 1693, because they were attacking her and she was kind of absorbing it, and then she started to steal their power and they wound up dying. If her end goal is to steal her Wanda's powers like she did those other witches, she's going about it in a very, very convoluted way. Which is not to say that some Marvel movies haven't created very convoluted situations to get to an end goal. As much as we love Civil War, Baron Zemo has a very convoluted plan to get his revenge on superheroes. So I don't know. It just seems a little bit too convoluted. And I think she's this all-powerful witch who's lived this long time kind of by herself, or always searching for that person that's as powerful. And she hasn't been able to find it, but now she's drawn to Wanda. I think, as we see in this episode, when they flash back to everything that Wanda has gone through, Wanda did create – so we were wrong, and I'm wrong. I was like, oh, Wanda's this powerful. Yeah, Wanda's this powerful. Wanda created this reality herself. She didn't bring Vision back from the dead. She manifested a different Vision from her powers, right?
Right.
And because, as we see at the end, the body of the Vision, and we were led to believe she stole the body. She didn't steal the body. They still have the body. So she creates, she builds a house on her own with her powers. She creates a brand new Vision. She obviously created the children, and she changed the town. So she is this powerful person. And this is my radical theory. So at the end of the episode, by the way, spoiler alerts. By the end of the episode, by the end of the episode, the last words we hear are, Agatha in Amazing says something along the lines of, "You're a Scarlet Witch," right?
Yes.
And all through, ever since Agatha's been manifesting her powers, we've been seeing this purplish color, right? Well, what if that's like first of all, and the comics never did this. They never, they dressed Wanda in red and called her a Scarlet Witch. Oh, that's why she's a Scarlet Witch. Well, maybe that's a thing. Maybe a Scarlet Witch is a certain type of powerful witch. Well, what if Agatha is another certain type of powerful witch, but she's a Violet Witch?
Oh yeah, I got the same vibe too, and that's why there was an episode that we did where, maybe it was the previous one where we saw Dottie out there and she was by like yellow flowers. I was thinking all those women there are all part of like a witch,
a coven,
yeah, and each witch has their own color, and because of that color, it kind of dictates what kind of witch they are.
Yeah, so it's like the Green Lantern Corps, except for witches.
Yeah, very cool.
So Agatha's a Violet Witch, and Wanda's a Scarlet Witch, and they have different things. So this is the thing. I don't think it's about stealing her power, because I don't know, just something about her saying "I can be good, mother" in the beginning makes me think that they burned her out of fear of her using her powers for evil, right? But maybe she's like, no, I can deal with these. I can handle these powers. I can be good. Although she winds up killing all those witches, but that.
And I think that's why I'm a little conflicted, because when she does, she says mother. I don't know if it's her real mother or just kind of like a motherly kind of person.
A title for the head of the coven or something. Right?
So what makes it conflicting is that she also shows no remorse either. Like, oh my God, what did I do? It's kind of like, oh, well, sucks for you that you died, whether accidentally or purposefully. And she does take that little brooch that she has there, and so that's where I'm a little conflicted. I don't know, and why does she care? Does she have to pick a side? She doesn't have to pick a side. She can be like, hey, we're the witches, we're badass, and we'll take anybody on, good or bad. Like she doesn't have to be part of a particular group.
Well, this is the thing too, because we're used to thinking of witches as bad, right? Well, this coven of witches tried to burn her for using dark magic. So does that mean they were "quote unquote" good witches? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions, and I do think there's a bigger bad behind it. But I'm inching more toward that, mid-credit scene or end-of-credit scene where they're revealed. Like, oh, well, that didn't work. I'll try something else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then that'll lead into the Doctor Strange movie, maybe. Like maybe that.
But do you think that big baddie is going to be revealed in this series?
I think it'll be like an end credit thing, like after next week's episode.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right.
If they don't come out next week and say this is the big baddie and they have to fight the big baddie, because I can see if Agatha is walking that line, and it's not like the really evil person in this. Because yes, she says I killed the dog, but the dog is a manifestation of Wanda's powers. It wasn't alive anyway, which I think we're going to find out something about the kids like that. I think you're going to see Wanda, Agatha, and Monica wind up fighting the big bad if they reveal the big baddie. I think.
I don't know.
Because Vision's going to fight New Vision, I think, and then they're going to fight. If a big baddie is revealed, I think those three will fight the revealed big baddie. I think we're so at the far end of this. I don't think there's enough room to bring in another baddie. I think at this point, the baddie, I'm not going to say baddie, but it's not really baddie, but I think the next episode is all going to be about Wanda versus Director Hayward and the other Vision and who that Vision is. I don't know if there's enough room to introduce somebody new at all. I think all the pieces are out, and this is what we're dealing with. And then now it's about people in Westview versus people outside Westview, and that's it. I can't foresee anything bigger than what it is. But the thing is, the first thing I texted you, because I saw it before you, was like, I don't see how they resolve all this in one episode. In regards to who Wanda is? Any of it. Even if they don't introduce a new big baddie, I don't see how they resolve the lingering questions in the next episode. Unless it's a 2-hour episode. But it's not. So maybe Hayward is the big baddie. I don't know. I'm still not hooked on – I don't know – that Hayward's really that bad of a guy. Last episode, I never thought Hayward. To this day, I don't think he's the bad guy. I just think he has a different point of view on things. Maybe he has his own agenda, but I'm not necessarily saying it's bad. But his thing is that he's trying to recreate Vision again, whether it's right or wrong. But that's his job. His job is to take this Vision body and weaponize it or create something out of it. But I think he's inadvertently creating something a lot bigger than what he thinks. So if we look at what we know, it does point to there not being anyone else bigger or badder. And maybe there isn't a big baddie. Maybe Agatha walking that gray line. So look, she's either straight up a bad guy, an evil person, or she's walking that gray line, right? Yeah. And from what we know, it could be that. It could be the big fight could just be Vision fighting Vision and Wanda coming to terms with Agatha, coming to terms with all of her trauma, and Agatha helping her through it or putting herself in the way of that as the bad guy. So maybe there is no Nightmare, there is no Mephisto. Maybe that's just what it is. It's a big battle between the two Visions, and if it has a happy ending, I think Wanda's Vision merges with his old body and becomes some kind of hybrid Vision. Like that's how they bring him back into the MCU for real. Or it ends tragically where Vision is gone, and maybe Vision's gone and the white Vision you see at the end he's like still a hero, but he's devoid of that emotion like he was in the comics. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that. I think the Vision that we know already from the TV show, that Vision, I think Wanda's going to try and maybe get that Vision into White Vision, I guess. But I don't think so. This new Vision that we're seeing now, and what the funny part is, that's the Vision that I'm familiar with from the comic books. I never knew green, red Vision from the comic books. So when I entered comic books, White Vision was the White Vision I knew, and he was very devoid of emotion. He was like Spock, I guess, very black and white kind of stuff. I think my fear, though, is, and I doubt it's going to happen. I really doubt it's going to happen because that would be like a major thing. Like, you're right, this can't be just one season. Is this how Ultron taps back in again? Is Ultron coming back in some way, somehow? But if it is Ultron, then you need almost like another 10 episodes to kind of flesh this out. I couldn't imagine like they're saying, okay, Ultron's back. Holy crap. Then they're in trouble. I was going to say maybe this ends with them like Mandalorian ended like, season 2 next year or something, like.
But it took the
Oh my
whole
God.
Avengers to take on Ultron. I mean,
Yeah, but if it is a way for Ultron to come back, you're finding a weaker Ultron. Don't let him come back 100%. Like have Wanda and Vision stop him before he comes back 100%.
so do you think?
but that-
do you
yeah.
think Ultron's involved?
I don't. It's the first. I mean, you mentioned it's the first time I even thought about that. I was actually thinking Baron Mordo, because remember he ends Doctor Strange being like, "Well, sorcery. We have to get rid of sorcery."
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, oh, so he's going after the witches. So he's causing this.
Okay, I didn't think
I'm not
about that.
100%. I'm not 100% on that, but
Yeah.
she is going to be in Doctor. It was making the connections were making sense to me because Doctor Strange and her are going to be in the next movie together, and why not you're going to bring Mordo back, right? At some point.
Yeah.
So,
But do
my
you
thing
think
is
it's?
I don't.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is I don't know if Wanda goes through all this therapy, quote unquote therapy, to come out better, like okay at the end, like over and accepting of all this tragedy, and then they take her vision away from her again. Unless that's part of her therapy, where she like maybe he beats Black and White Vision, and she has to say goodbye to him, and knowing that by saying goodbye he'll like not disintegrate, but you know what I mean, like disappear, and maybe that's part of it, like letting him go. And maybe that's part of the therapy too, because it wouldn't make sense to get her through all this trauma and then have the Vision she's been living with and treating as her husband have to disappear too, unless she lets him go. Does that make sense? I'm thinking about this very therapeutically, by the way.
No. So do you see? I'm having a hard time believing that Wanda walks out of this as an Avenger.
Better?
I don't. I think, like I said, I think Agatha is not. You can't put a title on her to say she's good or she's bad. She is what it is, And I think if you look at it from that point of view, she is a witch. She's looking for other witches, whether she's going to try to absorb Wanda's powers or not. But she is a witch, and maybe Scarlet Witch takes on that mantle as okay, I'm something else, because when you look at the flashback, I know we haven't even gotten to the show yet. But when you look at the flashback as to, how like they survived that bomb, are we assuming that she is the first mutant now? I mean, is this the first manifestation of, someone actually had powers that she was born with?
Well, that's what Agatha's saying. And this is where Agatha is wrong, because Agatha thinks Wanda knows how she's doing all this, that Wanda like practiced and learned how to do all this witchcraft, where it seems to be innate, where Agatha says you cast a hex spell so that bomb wouldn't explode. And then remember when she enters the room with the Mind Stone and the staff came to her.
Yeah.
I mean, the stone came to her.
Yeah.
It revealed itself to her. And if you look in that scene when she's getting hit with all the light and all that, she sees a vision of like herself in her. It's not herself. It's like an outline of her in her costume.
Yeah, you can see the costume part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's the first mutant. Her and Quicksilver, right? Wouldn't you call that a mutant? Or they're not using the term mutant in the Disney universe?
I would say we don't know about Quicksilver because maybe he did generally get the powers from the stone.
Okay.
But I would say, if we're not going to use mutant, gets born with it. But then Agatha, because Agatha is still in the assumption that this is a learned skill. Like, how did you get so good? How are you so powerful? Who taught you this? Because even Wanda's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, well, you know what I'm talking about. You're too powerful. Do you know what I mean? Like, even Agatha's having a hard time believing that Wanda had no quote unquote training in witchcraft.
Well, but she also makes it seem like don't you know that spell? This is such a basic spell.
Yeah. Meaning
Huh.
she thinks Wanda had training.
I guess. Or
she's
she
a
just
born witch.
she just was, like I said, she's a mutant with witch-like powers. She just wasn't trained in the right way or had formal training.
And then she used the stone. Maybe the stone helped amplify.
Yeah.
Because if she had probability powers, she's, that bomb's in her house. She's like, oh my God, don't explode, don't explode, don't explode. And by doing that, she's unknowingly causing it not to explode. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then she never uses it again, because why would you think, like, you get out of that situation thinking, oh, I'm lucky that bomb didn't explode. So she wouldn't think she had powers. but then now she's exposed to the stone that was supposed, the whole point of the experiments was to give them powers. So she's like, oh, it must have worked. I have powers now.
Right. No, yeah, it's very possible. I just saw an interview recently where some guy asked Feige, like, who is the most powerful, superhero? And he flat out says it's Wanda. I mean, Wanda took on Thanos. I mean, if Thanos didn't have rain fire or whatever, Thanos would have been a dead man, and Wanda would have kicked his ass easily.
Wanda was kicking his ass.
Yeah.
Rain, fire, our troops, do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she probably would have ripped him limb from limb all by herself. Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's that retcons her origin, which I think is awesome. We also find out that Pietro is obviously not Pietro, and not that he was raised from the dead. What did she say? She said it wasn't necromancy, which is bringing people back from the dead because his body's on another continent. It was just a possession spell. So he's someone,
right?
Is he Peter from the X-Men universe that she possessed, or is how can he just be a regular schmo that she possessed, and how is he running fast and all that? That's what I look at. Unless her powers could do that too.
I don't know. I mean, because Agatha seems like an extremely powerful witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's
which really gives insight to just how powerful Wanda is, because even Agatha's like, you are like powerful.
yeah, like you're unreal. And even like I rewatched a couple episodes last night, and when the dog dies, Sparky dies, and something like the kid said something like, "Can you bring it back to life?" And Agatha's like, "You can do that too?" Like she's like, "Huh?" like you take it as like she's just saying it, but now when you see Agatha and you know who she really is, she's almost like in bewilderment, like that's your power also? Like holy crap, So,
well, she also, but she also makes you believe that she can bring people back to the dead, because when she's referring to what she call him, fake Pietro, or whatever.
Yeah.
She says it's not, I couldn't use necromancy because his body. So it makes you think she could do that.
Yeah.
She has that skill too. So yeah, and I think the kids are part of her wish fulfillment. I think Agatha knows, and I just think Agatha is really there as more of a, like, A, curious about her power level, and B, like helping her through this trauma, not in a selfless way. She wants something from Wanda, but she's helping her through this to help her understand just how powerful she is. Maybe to make her an ally. Say, see, you're this powerful. You need to be in my coven, or I'll be in your coven. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I just don't think she's like a bad guy, like an evil.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if she's good, bad, or whatever, but I don't think I can't perceive her as this really evil person. Because, like I said, I rewatched, and it'd be weird to know that she's like the bad person. Like if you're watching episode 1 through whatever already, you never get that at all, because she seems quite helpful. But hey, dude, we haven't even talked about the show. What did you think about? You want to start off like her going back through time, or through like watching her as a kid and as she's evolving and stuff?
Well, part of a lot of what they showed us kind of confirmed theories we had. We thought the whole sitcom thing was because she watched the old shows as a kid, which was confirmed.
Yeah. But what was a mind F though? When she creates, like, she starts making Westview, everything starts to morph into like the 1960s, whatever it was. And then even her house she starts to create. What really tripped my head was there's a part where you think she's in a house, but then the camera pulls back and it's a soundstage. And you're like, wait, what just happened? I thought she created the house. Like all of a sudden the house is also a soundstage. And I was like, we need a podcast because I don't know what the hell just happened there.
Well, the thing is she the one, someone's broadcasting the show, and is it her?
I don't know. But why was there a soundstage?
Because she created the sitcom life, because that's what she knew.
But is that in the house too? The house is a soundstage?
I think for those first 2 episodes, yeah.
Oh.
Because when you go beyond those episodes, you see all the walls of the house at some point during the show. You don't see it in those first 2 episodes because it's that old sitcom style. I forgot to call it 3 camera or something like that. where where the fourth wall. But when she throws what's her name through the wall, you at some point during the show see all sides of the house.
Yeah.
Like they're filming inside an actual house.
But they're still alluding to it's a TV show still.
Right.
That she's still filming in front of somebody.
It's been being broadcast. Well, those first 2 episodes, I think, were more. Remember, it kept morphing as she went up through the years. I think it morphed. So I think those first 2 episodes were sound. But she might have even been oblivious to it too.
That scene just still blew my mind. I was like, "What the hell just happened?" I can understand her creating that house to make it fit the theme of the TV show, and I'm thinking like it's just a regular house, and all of a sudden the camera pulls back and like, "Whoa, what just happened?" Is it a house or is it like a TV studio? Because there was an audience, like seats for the audience. I mean, that's not part of the house, and that's where everything just kind of flipped over its head.
Dude, it's chaos magic.
It's cool. It's interesting. It is. What I was kind of annoyed about though, but annoying and fun at the same time. It's the reason why you and I started doing weekly shows on this, is because of all these little Easter eggs that were going on. But it's like, you know what? These are all just red herrings. It seems like. Yeah.
Well, I think Wanda turned out to be Wanda's in more control than we thought, and maybe that she even thought. So the question really, because Agatha's more about how are you doing, it's not why.
Yeah.
And so the trip down memory lane, it was nice to see the story she told in Avengers Ultron, Age of Ultron, about her and her brother. It was good seeing that little scene of her in the Vision and Avengers compound was pretty cool.
That was great writing too. When Vision said, I actually wrote it down because I was like, wow, that's actually pretty powerful. When he talks about grief, he says, "What is grief but love persevering?" I sat there, I was like, whoa, that was good. That was actually pretty deep. But it was neat to see that scene though, because it's a scene that we're all familiar with because we actually watch Age of Ultron. It's like a scene that happened within the movie that we just didn't see. And I thought that was pretty nice to actually see that. It's like, oh, okay, we're finally in on something. For the first time, we actually can grasp onto something that we actually understand. And that was actually pretty nice. And like you said, how she was able to confront Vision, and Director Hayward was like, no, let her go there. Let her see for herself.
Well, even about that scene, it's, Hayward really presented that, because Hayward basically said she stole Vision's body. And if you watch it from her point of view, it was a lot less dramatic. It was a lot less aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
She walked in there. She spoke to him. He made valid points. We're not going to give you all this vibranium to bury under the ground. But in my brain, I'm like, no, you bury him on Avengers compound. It's going to be fine. No one's going to touch him.
But it's vibranium.
Yeah, I know. But then how are they cutting them open with saws? Are they vibranium saws?
Good point.
Like, come on. So I'm like, I understand his points, and I don't like the fact that he's trying to make weaponize them, but I understand his point. But if I was Wanda, I'd be like, no, we're going to bury him on the Avengers property. He'll be fine. Nobody's going to mess with him there. But it's really, it was very powerful for me, because I'm like, she loves this guy. This is all she had after her brother died, and she can't even bury him. And it was really, and then she says, "I can't feel you." Like, that was like a whole thing in Infinity War. All I feel is you.
Yeah.
It's like, oof.
Yeah.
Like, that's rough.
That was
But
good
she left
writing.
there. She left there without anger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, stupid Haywood making her look like she broke in there and stole the body.
Well, who do you think gave her that letter that was in the car, though? Who was that? Was that Agatha?
Well, I saw a video on this because at first I just went with what they want us to think, that Vision did it. Vision bought the property. But then they're like, why would he buy a property right next to a house that has a witch's dungeon underneath it?
Oh.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of coincidental. So maybe Agatha put it there and just put the V there, so she think it was Vision.
I don't know.
Witchcraft. Maybe it's coincidence, and she just made the basement out of witchcraft. Or maybe you go through the basement door. Maybe you go through the basement door and you're teleported to wherever that base. Because she opened the storm door. It was Monica opened the storm door last episode. It was the haunted basement. So I don't know.
Yeah, where was Monica with all this?
I don't know. Monica and Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, they were there. I mean, literally, they were just opening up the storm door. You know?
Yeah, well, I don't know. And didn't they go from her telling stories to them being out on the street holding the kids with the magic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened. I'm assuming we'll find out next episode.
Do you think that they use Paul Bettany in White Vision? Why am I calling White Vision? Blue Vision. He actually looks blue.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be White Vision. Yeah, I think that's Paul Bettany.
Is it? Okay, because he kind of didn't look the same to me. But then again, lots of makeup.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think they used them. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I can't wait to see the Vision versus Vision fight. That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. But
now there's supposed to be a cameo. Everyone's talking about a big cameo. That's like someone, Monica, the actress played Monica, said there's a big cameo. She can't wait for everybody to see. And Paul Bettany said there's one too. But now people are like, oh, does Paul Bettany mean him versus himself? Like, is he the other cameo? Was he
oh man, that would suck.
Yeah, I don't know who Monica's talking about. Well, let me ask you. I mean, they didn't really touch on it this week, but do you still think the aerospace engineer is somebody, or do you think it was the soldier from last week?
Oh God, I totally forgot about that. No, I guess it was really a nobody because there's no reason to refer to that particular character for the next episode. So that was a letdown. But
Yeah.
So do you feel that there is going to be a cameo?
It might be. It might be something as simple as Nick Fury.
Yeah. See, after these last two
Yeah.
episodes, like our brains have exploded. Like, oh, it's going to be John Krasinski now, and now I'm really dialing it back big time. Like, I don't think it's anyone super like that we don't know about. Like
Yeah, it could be the Skrull from Captain Marvel. 'Cause-
exactly. I'm thinking it's going to be on that level because
Oh my God! If it's Captain Marvel, I'm gonna kick my TV.
it can be.
Like, you get out of my TV. Who brought you here? Damn chaos magic.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be someone that's not part of the Marvel universe already because that would be huge news because I think you would know about that already. I think. So it's got to be something that's kind of established. So it could be Baron Mordo. I mean, it can.
And it might even turn out that Pietro is just some schlub. It's not the X-Men Pietro or Peter, I guess his name is in the X-Men movies. So that'd be a letdown too.
Yeah. So do you think WandaVision is going to end with complete closure, or do you think there's going to be like? No, you think it's going to definitely lean on something else?
I'm telling you what. Even if it does, I think there's going to be a credit scene, post or mid credit scene that is going to relate to her and Doctor Strange.
You think it's going to be that tied closely to it?
Yeah, they have to tie it to it. Wouldn't you think?
Well, at this point, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think there's really a need to because we were thinking, or at least I was thinking, like the whole timeline thing with the TV shows has something to do with timeline, but it actually doesn't. I mean, WandaVision can, as of right now, I think it can totally stand alone without thinking of Doctor Strange. I think. I mean, is there anything about WandaVision now that makes you think there's a relationship to the multiverse?
Well, just the magic.
Oh, okay. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's different timelines.
Well,
I mean,
it doesn't have to be multiverse related. It could just be Doctor Strange related. What if he comes sweeping in at the end?
why?
And maybe, well, because after everything's resolved, maybe he comes in and Monica can be like, oh, we solved everything. And he's like, this goes way beyond Agatha Harkness or something like that,
Yeah.
And then ends. Dun, dun, dun. And then you'll see Wanda will be back in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. Something like that.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
I mean, I can see them doing it. I'm not saying they have to, but it'd be weird. Look, the only Marvel movie that didn't end with something like that, with at least a mid or post credit scene, was Endgame, and most of the mid or post credit scenes related to something happening in the future Marvel movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think what's throwing me off a little bit. I think when I'm thinking Agatha, because she appears and acts like being a witch is very different than any other superhero. Like she's different than, let's say, a Doctor Strange, or she just seems different. Like, I don't know explain
Well,
it.
but I think you're right. I think whatever magic witches are using is different than the magic that Doctor Strange uses.
Yeah, because when you watch the Doctor Strange movie, they make no connection to Wanda where they could have. It's like a different kind of magic, almost like cosmic magic. Doctor Strange.
Well, it could. Yeah. Well, they're known as Sorcerer Supremes, the master of the mystical arts. So think of it this way: the magic Doctor Strange is practicing is like baseball, and the magic that witches practices is like softball. Like they have things in common, but they're different.
Right.
And one is more superior than the other. I'm not going to say which I think is superior, but and get gender biased out here.
I do like that each magic has its own color scheme. Like Doctor Strange is like yellow-orange, I think. And yeah, I kind of like that each magic has its own kind of magic.
Right.
Or
maybe it's just the witches, it's particular, like we said before, it's particular to the type of magic they're practicing.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. I am interested to see what the next episode's going to be like. Like, are they going to flesh out who these other witches are? I mean, dude, my mind would be blown if Dottie actually is a witch, too. Or not a witch, or like some sort of... Oh, dude. Oh my God, what is her name? The Enchantress. But she's part of Thor, right?
From Asgard?
Yeah.
She's what?
Yeah, she's part of Thor, though. But I was thinking, she's blonde. Something like that. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, if they introduce us Guardians and stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep.
It was an interesting episode. At least we're getting answers. Are there any like major questions still that you're trying to figure out? Who's Ralph? That's going to be annoying if it's just nothing.
Yeah, like a made-up husband or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because they make mention of it from episode 1, and it's just such a random thing to mention somebody that doesn't exist. Do you think Ralph is going to be somebody?
I hope so.
Or
maybe it ends with Agatha defeated, and the mid-credit scene or whatever is her going and someone speaking of Ralph, and you find out it's someone. I don't know.
Son of a bitch.
Like when and Ralph goes, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
Right. Oh, so confusing. Still good though.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I was thinking about last week and this week. I'm like, why did I like this week better than last week? And I couldn't even bring myself to rewatch last week's.
Yeah, that's true. Last week's I didn't like very much. This one, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, I like this one. This was good. This is a good one. It's still good. The story moved forward. I think that's what I liked. I think last episode, I don't think the story moved as well. This one, where it's pushing the storyline greatly. And how cool is that you get someone like Wanda as an Avenger, maybe not one of the big three, but boy, to get her character super fleshed out is pretty awesome, and we're gonna get that with the Winter Soldier, Falcon, Hawkeye. I think, right? It's neat that they're really diving a little bit deeper. Where after Endgame, I thought, okay, we're done with them. I think all the characters that we've loved for the last decade plus, and we're actually getting more than we actually thought. So I'm actually happy about that.
Right.
Anything else?
All right. Can't believe it's over, man. This is a quick 9 weeks.
I know. Yeah.
Or almost over.
Yeah. I can't believe.
So is there anything that can happen that would disappoint you?
That would disappoint.
Yeah. Like, look, you and I have spent the last 8 weeks theorizing, and not a lot. I know I didn't do a running count, but I don't think a lot of our theories panned out exactly what we thought it was. But I'm not disappointed by it. I mean, there are episodes I didn't like, but I don't think that's because my expectations weren't met. I just think they weren't, particularly interesting episodes. So do you think there's any way this could end with you being disappointed? Almost like, what? That's it? I can't believe I wasted 9 weeks.
Well, I would definitely say with how they structure these TV shows, where they did have us guessing, and I love the zillion Easter eggs that were fun to figure out, but maybe have led to nothing, but it was still cool to have. So I guess you can't be disappointed no matter what they throw at you, because I don't know. I don't know if there's really any expectations. I think the only thing I just need to know is how do they get out of this, really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, even if I don't like next week's episode or like the resolution, I don't think, I certainly won't think I wasted 9 weeks, because, you know, it's been fun watching, it's been fun theorizing, it's been really awesome doing these shows. So I don't think it would ever be that, I mean, really it'd have to be horrendous for me to be like, this is so dumb. I mean, I could be disappointed in the ending. It couldn't be we might be thinking too globally or cosmically. Maybe it's not going to have all these ramifications, Marvel universe wide. Maybe it's just Wanda's life. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fine.
I mean, that's what I got from this episode. After watching this episode, I realized, okay, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. And with what they presented so far, I'm happy with it. So, okay, so let's speculate. What would be a letdown? So let's say, okay, this is the letdown. The letdown would probably be Ralph is just the stupidest thing. It's just like a nobody, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I couldn't imagine anything that they would present where I'd be like upset about. Do you have anything in mind?
No, I mean, I would like Ralph to be meaningful. I don't know. I just stop mentioning him so much. And just like the aerospace engineer, I still have a little hope that it'll be someone. I mean, it doesn't have to be Reed Richards, but it has to be more than just some woman in the army that she knew.
Yeah. Because
it's just, I don't know.
But he did a good job of making us think, that's for sure.
So are you okay if Pietro is just some schlub that she brainwashed and not from a multiverse or anything like that?
So the cool factor would be if it is Pietro from the X-Men universe, then I would definitely say this is a multiverse kind of thing, and the tie into Doctor Strange is extremely distinct. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, that's so mind blowing. Like, how awesome is that is how they connect the two movie properties together. That's just brilliant.
Maybe she searches out Doctor Strange to help get him back home.
It can be. So if that's the case, that's mind-blowing. If it's just Agatha manifesting some bub off the street, whatever, I guess I'm okay with it too. But it's like the fact that they got that particular actor to play that particular Quicksilver, I mean, it was still cool, regardless of how it plays out. What are the chances of that they actually had two Quicksilvers that they can tap into? I mean, that's just brilliant.
Yeah, let's just use what they got, man.
yeah, and it worked really, really well.
Dude, and do you realize Spider-Man's schedule to come out this December?
Is it really?
Yeah, and I think Black Widow was May?
Wow.
So we're getting, what do we say? We're getting 4 movies this year?
Wait, count them out.
Shang-Chi's
this year?
Yeah, I think so. Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah.
No way. Eternals is this year?
I believe so, man.
No.
Eternals was supposed to be November 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think Shang-Chi was supposed to be February.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me Google this.
Do you think,
while I do this, did you hear the new title of the new Spider-Man movie?
I heard there was like 3 different titles, but I wasn't too sure if it was actually confirmed.
No, well, on the Instagrams, the 3 main kids, Peter Parker, Ned, and MJ, they each posted a different title.
Oh.
Just trolling people. And then, like, the next day, they posted the real title.
Oh, okay.
And it's Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, No Way Home?
No, Phone Home was, I think that was the fake one Tom Holland gave.
Oh.
And then there was, like, Phone Home and Home Slice, I think someone put. And I forgot the other one was.
So what's the actual title now?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah. All right. So, the internet, which, is always truthful, says, it's opening slowly I turned. All right. We got WandaVision. We got Falcon Winter Soldier March 19th. Black Widow's May 7th. Loki show is June 11th. Shang-Chi is July 9th. Eternals November 5th. Spider-Man 3 December 17th.
Holy crap.
And then they're saying the Hawkeye TV show is supposed to be out later this year too. Late 2021.
Holy crap.
And Miss Marvel too is supposed to be late 2021. Doctor Strange is March 25th to 22. Thor: Love and Thunder May 6th, 22. Black Panther 2 July. I don't know if that's well, it might be July 8th, 2022. Captain Marvel 2 November 11th, 2022. And there's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Wow.
That's coming out on Disney Plus. Oh, and Moon Knight is going to be a TV show starring Oscar Isaac on Disney Plus in 2022. She-Hulk will be coming out in 2022 on Disney Plus. Wow, we're gonna be sick of Marvel.
That's so crazy on how Marvel is turning out to be this incredible streaming TV movie thing, like such a deep universe. It's weird.
Oh yeah, and they're doing it with Star Wars now too. They're copying the Marvel formula they're doing for Star Wars. That's why you got all these TV shows and these movies coming out in the next like 3 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right, man. We got one more episode of the show. It's gonna be sad to see it go because I've enjoyed doing these shows, and we haven't decided if we're doing Winter Soldier and Falcon yet because we don't know what it's like. If it's good, maybe we will. If it's not, maybe we won't. We'll see.
Dude, it does look good. I just did a rewatch.
Looks really good.
Three in a row. I got. Oh, yeah, I did in a weird order though. I think I told you. I watched Civil War recently. I watched Winter Soldier last night. I watched First Avenger. I was psyching myself up.
I read an article that said that the action scenes in Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier are unreal.
Really?
Yeah. Well, what's great about these shows is they're making them like they're movies.
They look like they're movies. Yes, the quality is amazing.
Kind of money. Like WandaVision was supposed to be like 20 million an episode or some crazy thing like that.
Wow.
Yeah, just crazy amounts of money they're spending on these things. So,
okay, I got a question for you, Agatha. Do you think she's going to be a bigger character in the cinematic universe? Like, do we see her go from streaming to the big screen?
If she's not like a flat out villain, you might see her in Multiverse of Madness.
Wow.
She might be Falcon to Wanda's Cap.
Interesting. Well,
or Winter Soldier. Whoever gets a hold of the shield. It's gonna be Falcon. Yeah.
Wow. All right, that was fun, dude.
Yeah. So before we go, Alan, I want to make two recommendations to you and to the crowd. The first one is the Superman and Lois TV show, which premiered this past week. Had a 2-hour pilot episode. It was so good. It was on the CW, and I wasn't expecting a lot from these CW shows because I'm really on the fence with all of them. I still watch The Flash and the time travel one, which I like so much I can't remember the name. And I did like Stargirl season 1. So I didn't have high hopes for the Superman and Lois. This is a really good well, it's only the pilot, but it's a really good 2 hours of TV. And I can't wait for more. I hope they don't.
Good in what way? Good story or?
It's a good story, the acting. Like this guy that's Superman, I like him. I like that. I like the road they're taking with. You know, they got two teenage kids.
They have children.
Kids. They have 2 teenage boys. They're twins. One of them, well, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it's just a good take on Superman, and it's fresh, it's new, I think the guy's great. I like the Lois. I like everyone that's playing the actor, the different people so far. It's just good. It's just good storytelling. Like when I watched the first episode of Smallville 21 years ago, I was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah.
And I felt like that with this one. Not as much as I like Smallville, but almost as good. I'm like, this is a really good Superman show. Okay. And I hope they can keep it up. Hope they don't CW it too much. But
what does that mean?
So, make it all about teen angst and they become little whisperers. On Arrow and Flash, especially when they want to get serious, they start talking low. But you got to understand, Iris, I really love you, but I have to save the Earth. Dude, no one can hear you. Speak up. When they get earnest and intense, they start to whisper talk, and I hate it.
All right,
Maybe
cool.
because I'm old and cranky and can't hear as well as I used to, but whatever. Yeah, it's a good show. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. And then the other thing I want to recommend is, and I'm late on board, I'm sure the comic book world is way ahead of me on this, but I recently started reading The Amazing Spider-Man by Nick Spencer. Really great book. He understands Spidey. He understands Peter. Mary Jane's back in the picture. It's just a really good book. I'm enjoying it. I'm like devouring. He's got 60 issues out. I devoured them all in about a week and a half. It's a really good issue. Comic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mom's Basement Collectibles, what's going on there?
I just finished up my Young Avengers week. I haven't figured out what I'm doing this week. So we'll see. I haven't done DC in a while. I might do DC.
That's awesome. Let's see. You can find us on Facebook, NerdInMePodcast, Instagram, NerdInMe, Twitter, NerdInMePodcast, YouTube. That's on fire. I say that every week because it is. NerdInMePodcast. Check it out. Oh, dude, we got mentioned. You want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Big shout out to verbal.com, VURBL, which is a podcasting website. We were listed. We were on their list of, let me get the name of the list correctly. Well, there's a top 15, and we made the list of their best. Here we go. The best podcast about 80s blockbusters, blockbuster movies. So we're on a list with 14 other podcasts, and it's specifically they highlighted an excerpt from our show on Die Hard.
Check it out. We made a list.
Yeah, we made a list. It's a snippet of the 80s movie Die Hard. They obviously hadn't gotten to our Back to the Future episodes where those professionally written skits were preceded.
We made it. Hey, the last time we were on a list, so if you guys, we're going to throw a plug right now, right? We use this company called Anchor, right? Anchor FM, and they're a podcasting hosting site. And they at one time had like their top podcast, and I think we're on there like weekly. And then for some reason, the rat bastards took it off.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't do that feature anymore, but you know, we're on there. It's like, oh man, too bad.
And I want to fine tune our shout out in Verbal. Our Verbal, we made the list by one of their employees, Alana, who curated the best podcast about the 80s list.
Okay.
And I'm assuming she's the one that picked us because she does a little intro. Hi, this is Alana.
Well, all right.
So yeah, so check us out. So yeah, check us out. Check out Verbal, VURBL.com, and see what their website's about in regards to hosting podcasts. You can find a lot of different podcasts on there too.
Yeah, baby. Top 15.
Next week, top 10.
There you go. Anything else?
That's all I got, friend. See,
Till next time.
you're a Scarlet Witch.
That was weird.
Peace.
Peace.